Hi, so welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about a lot of new releases that have come out, in January, basically the beginning of the year, which have been very tempting to pick up, but I've been sort of kind of cutting back on buying makeup because I do have quite a bit. And these products have been very tempting, but I just kind of realized that I do have comparable products in my collection. So maybe, I should just focus on using those instead of going and buying whatever is like fresh and new out in the market. So I hope this video sort of inspires you to go through your collection as well and see if you have comparable products in your collection already, and therefore kind of save money by not really buying the new products. Because come on, some of the things are like pretty similar to what have come out previously in like past years. Especially I'm talking more in terms of like highlighters and stuff. They've been done before, so I'm sure a lot of us would have similar shades, similar formulas already in our collection. So yeah, let's get into it. So since I started off talking about highlighters, one of the few things that really tempted me this year was the new Charlotte Tilbury highlighters. They look really pretty. I like the packaging. I like how there are a couple of different shades in the range, as well as the Rare Beauty highlighters, which everybody's talking about, and they do look really pretty in the pan, and they do seem to have like a very smooth finish on the cheekbones, especially when I saw it demoed on a variety of skin tones actually, and it seems to be working really well. They do have quite a few shades. So yeah, generally they were very tempting, especially since I always tend to gravitate towards anything shiny in terms of highlighters and like glowy blushes and things like that are like my weakness in general. So I was very tempted about with these products, but then I kind of decided to take a step back and just look into my own collection. And then yeah, if you look at it in this way, highlighters, there are only a few shades which seem to generally work for a lot of skin tones. I mean, I'm not talking about the funny highlighters that were coming out in like 2016, 2017, which were kind of like green and purplish kind of highlighters. I'm talking about like the general ones, which are like either gold, or they have a champagne finish or a rosy champagne finish. Like there are just a couple of them that generally are released by almost every brand because they seem to be the shades which people across a variety of skin tones can use, and generally those are more like the everyday user-friendly kind of shades. So yeah, so basically what I'm trying to get at is that you probably have a lot of those shades and similar formulas in your collection already. So when I went through my collection, I decided that the Becca highlighters, which I already have, I have only one actually. I have this one from Becca, which is called the Pearl Glow Luster Glow Powder, and this was in the shade Pure Pearl. This one actually looks very similar to like the Rare Beauty ones. Like they are also, I think the Rare Beauty ones are also kind of a baked type of formula from looking at it. I haven't actually got a chance to swatch them yet, but yeah, they do look very similar to this one. So I decided that, why not use this more? I haven't actually used this much, to be honest. So yeah, I decided I might as well just pull this out and use this a little bit more versus going and buying the new highlighter from Rare Beauty as well as Charlotte Tilbury. And Charlotte Tilbury, I did see a couple of reviews where the pan just keeps swirling in the compact. I believe that's because it's supposed to be replaceable, but refillable or replaceable, but still I feel like the magnet should be a little bit stronger for how expensive the product is. So that kind of gives it a little bit of a cheap feel. So yeah, between the two, I think the Rare Beauty one is also, people were saying it's more value for money in terms of price per gram and everything. But yeah, again, it comes down to, do you have something similar already in your collection or not? And in my case, I do. So yeah, so that's how I'm planning to skip on the two highlighter releases which came out in January. So this is what I'm planning to use. I think I'm going to use this in the month of February as part of my, using my stash. So I'm excited to, dwell back into this. It's been a while. So the next thing that tempted me was a new eyeshadow palette. And in general, I've been basically trying really hard not to buy any more eyeshadow palettes, powder palettes, especially since I generally I'm nowadays more comfortable wearing cream, but at the same time, when I still see powder palettes, I kind of tempted to buy them. So I'm like in this weird in between stage of, transitioning out of powder products, but at the same time, sometimes keep getting pulled back because some of the color stories are always very beautiful. So that's kind of my temptation with powder eyeshadow palettes compared to like cream shadows. And yeah, the new release that I saw was from Doll 10 Beauty, and they came out with like, I think they had a limited edition palette previously. I think it was called version 1, and this is the version 2 that's come out. The version 1 was very beautiful, and I actually had my eye on it, and then I think it sold out, and I just forgot about it and I never picked it up. So when I found out that they're actually coming out with the second one, I was very interested to know how it looks like. And yeah, the reveal was a little bit of a disappointment to me because I felt like there were too many brown shades in there and not too many shimmers. I like to have a good balance of shimmers and mattes, and this particular palette from the promo pics, it just looks like it's like too many browns for my personal way of using eyeshadows. I don't use that many browns. I'm usually like pretty basic in my everyday eyeshadow application. So yeah, so what I also realized was that I have the Tartelette Juicy palette, and this is one of my favorite palettes, and this one actually has all the browns and pretty similar. I wouldn't say it's the exact same as the Doll 10. Obviously the Doll 10 one is much different, but it has a similar vibe. And therefore, do I really need the Doll 10? I don't think so. I think I need to get a little bit more use out of this one. Although this is one of my favorite palettes, I don't really use it that often. So I need to get back into using this a little bit more. And yeah, and I think the price for the Doll 10 is like $38, and this is something I already have in my collection. This is slightly expensive compared to Doll 10. I think this is like $42 nowadays on the website, on Tarte's website. Yeah, and the Doll 10 is like 38. So this one, I feel the Tartelette Juicy one, I personally like the balance of shimmers and mattes. It kind of has the perfect ratio in my opinion. So you have 1, 2, I think this is also, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 shimmers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and 6 mattes. So yeah, it's just perfect in my opinion. Whereas the Doll 10 one has, I think, if I remember right, I don't have the picture right in front of me, I didn't pull it out. It has like way less shimmers. I think 2 or 3 shimmers, and the rest are all mattes, and they're all like different shades of brown. So yeah, a little bit disappointed. I'll probably wait to see if they release another version or something which is a little bit more different, and maybe try it out then. I'm actually very curious about the brand. I've heard a few YouTubers talking about the brand. They have, I think, cream blushes which are, very highly rated, as well as their eyeshadow as well, I think. So yeah, I'm actually generally curious about the brand, so I might try something from them eventually. So let's see what comes out new this year from them that might potentially make me buy something from them. So yeah, and I think the Doll 10 formula is also talc free, and I think Tarte is talc free as well, if I remember right. Okay, anyway, I don't have the outer box anymore, but I believe this is talc free. So they're very comparable even in terms of the claims. So yeah, so I've decided to kind of skip that eyeshadow palette and use my Tartelette Juicy instead. So yeah, now the next product that actually got me pretty excited, this is also another brand where I'm actually looking forward to trying a couple of new items, or just generally trying the brand. And the brand I'm talking about is Kosas. The main thing that's stopping me from buying anything from Kosas is because it's one of those clean beauty brands where they don't use preservatives, and I do have a lot of products, and therefore if I don't really use it every day, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like get my money's worth. It's basically going to spoil. So that's kind of stopping me from trying out Kosas. But the one thing that I actually saw recently that's coming out from the brand, it's called the Kosas Vitamin Infused Skin Illuminating Enhancer. When I first saw it, it looked really pretty. I like the pump style application that it's coming with and everything. I mean, in general, it just had like this kind of vibes that I look for when it comes to like, base makeup. So I was very tempted, and they do claim that this is something you can use as a highlighter or you can mix in with your foundation. So yeah, it looked very tempting. And then again, I had to, step back and think a little bit. And there, the problem again with Kosas being that they don't use preservatives. I haven't checked the ingredient list of this particular product, but for the whole brand in general, they tend to be preservative free. So yeah, I'm guessing this might probably not have any preservatives either. So it's probably going to last for maybe like 3-4 months, and then it's going to go bad. And also, I was thinking about how they say you can use this as a highlighter as well as you can mix it into foundations. And the product that I'm actually using right now for that purpose is from Revlon. And this is the Revlon Skin Lights Face Glow Illuminator in Sunrise Luster. This is absolutely beautiful mixed in with foundation. So yeah, so then I had to again tell myself I don't need anything else. I'm very happy with this. So why, I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to try new products, but this is like really performing fabulously well with pretty much every foundation that I've tried it with. And although I don't use this as a, highlighter as is, you can use it for that purpose as well. I mostly like to use this mixed in with my foundation, and it works really nicely. So again, this one is, I think, priced at like $13, and I found this on Amazon. It used to be sold at Ulta. I'm not sure if it's still sold at Ulta, but this is still available on Amazon, and it's pretty hard to find. I don't find it very often everywhere, but it's a beautiful product, and yeah, it just works really well mixed in with foundation. So again, I don't really need to buy the Kosas one. And if you are looking to find a budget-friendly foundation mixer, to kind of give a little bit of an illumination effect to your foundation, I highly recommend trying this out. It's only $13, which is much more affordable than some of the other products that are coming out which have the same claims. So yeah, so again, that's how I basically managed to strike the Kosas one out of my wants list, basically by taking a step back and looking at what I have, and yeah, just realize that I'm very happy with this one. Now, the next product that also really caught my eye, and that's because I recently tried a few products from the brand. So the brand I'm talking about is RMS Beauty. So RMS Beauty has these I think it's called Redimension Hydra blushes or something. Those blushes are fabulous. I have 2 shades. I did pick them up, I think, in December. I picked up 1 shade during Black Friday, and I really loved it. I loved it so much that I actually went and bought another one, and that rarely happens with me. I usually try to like just have one blush or one highlighter from a brand. I rarely buy multiples from the same line and same brand, simply because I like to keep, trying different products, and therefore I don't want like too many of the same type, although I might like them. But this one, I really loved it so much that I went and bought a second one. So ever since then, RMS Beauty has been on my radar a little bit, and I've been looking forward to some new releases from them. And the latest new release is basically called the RMS Beauty Lip Lights, and it's supposed to be something like a lip gloss, lip balm, kind of a tinted situation thing. And it looks very beautiful. And although I've kind of talked myself out of buying it for the time being, I do see myself probably buying it pretty soon, just because, like I said, I've become a new fan of the brand after trying the blushes. I haven't tried anything else from them, and I don't know, I think there was some controversy with the brand for a bit, and I think they've kind of restructured and stuff. So yeah, so I think it's okay to buy from them now. I don't know. Anyway, politics aside, the RMS Beauty lip lights are very tempting, and when I thought about the actual formula and what they were describing, what came to my mind were these Revlon Glass Shine, they're called Glass Shine, right? No, sorry, Revlon Super Lustrous Shine lipsticks. These are basically a lip gloss, lip balm, lipstick type of hybrid deal. It's very similar to Tarte's Maracuja, those lip balms or lipsticks. I don't know what they call them. I think they're called lipsticks. The ones which are basically viral on TikTok, those ones are very similar to those in terms of how glossy they leave your lips, and they have pretty good pigmentation. So even if you buy multiple shades, you do get like very different colors on your lips. It's not just like a very lightly tinted, balm or gloss. So I really love these. I've been raving about these, I think, for the last 2 years, I guess. And that's when I first discovered them. And recently I picked up some more shades. I have actually one more shade, which I don't know where it is. It's probably somewhere in one of my handbags. I have to go dig it out. But the two shades that I have with me are Glaring Coral and Glossed Up Rose. These are really beautiful. And like I said, the formula is just so nice and glossy. Maybe I should just do a sample swatch. So this is Glaring Coral. Yeah, Glaring Coral, which is so beautiful. And as you can see, it's just one swipe and you do get quite a bit of pigment, and there's enough of a glossy shine to it. And the other one I have is called Glossed Up Rose, which is just beautiful. In my opinion, it's just so beautiful. There you go. So this is the rose one and this is the coral one. And as you can see, they leave behind quite a bit of a glossy finish, and they're quite pigmented, and they're extremely comfortable on the lips. They're like the easiest to just throw on your lips and just get out the door. You'll have like a nice glossy lip as well as enough pigment on it, and it also wears off pretty well. It doesn't like wear off patchy or anything. The glossy finish doesn't last for too long, but that's okay. It does leave behind enough of a stain that you're still looking pretty good overall. So I really like these. And these also, what came to my mind when I saw a new release from Lawless. I think it's called the Lip Smoothing Lip Balm. And they also look very similar in formula to these. And those are also very tempting to me because I've heard a bunch of good reviews about Lawless, the lip, don't forget, no, the lip plumping thing they have. I don't know what it's exactly called. The Lawless Lip Plumper. They have a lip plumper. I don't remember the exact name, but it's supposed to be really good and highly rated. So I'm not into lip plumping products, so I didn't really try it. So I decided that, I'll just wait to see if they have some other interesting lip products coming out, and bam, they did come out with something new. But yeah, again, the formula is very similar to this, I feel. It just sounds very similar. So again, I've kind of talked myself out of that for the time being by, reminding myself I have these. So the next product that really caught my eye are the Charlotte Tilbury matte blushes, which are coming in that same sponge tip applicator kind of packaging, which is not really my favorite style of packaging. I do have a highlighter, a liquid highlighter, which is in that very similar packaging from Kiko, and the product itself is really nice, but again, that it's kind of gross after a few months to keep using that same sponge to apply your highlighter. So again, that is something that is pulling me back from trying these matte liquid blushes from Charlotte Tilbury. And also I do have a couple of cream blushes, matte blushes, which I absolutely love, and which actually, if you swatch them out, they do look a little similar to the Charlotte Tilbury product swatches that I saw on Instagram. So if one of them reminded me very much of this ColourPop blush that I have. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in No Vacancy. This is a matte Super Shock blush, and this is absolutely beautiful on the cheeks. It blends in beautifully and it doesn't look chalky. The Charlotte Tilbury one, I don't know, except for the bright shade, which looked very similar to this. They had a slightly more pinker shade. That one looked a little chalky. So even if I were to buy the Charlotte Tilbury, I would buy the shade which looks similar to this. So since I have this already, I decided I don't really need that. So that's basically how I talk myself out of that particular new release. And like I was saying, this is actually a really great product, and this is one of my favorite products from ColourPop. I did try a bunch of ColourPop products in the summer, and I think this was kind of one of my favorite things from the brand. And again, if you're looking for some other cream matte formulas, I highly recommend checking out Stila as well. This is the Stila Duo, it's called the Convertible Color Dual Lip and Cheek Cream product, and this is in the shade Gerbera. That's the shade that I have. This again is a very beautiful nude pink shade, and although it is a matte, pretty light pink shade, on my skin tone, it's perfect. It doesn't look chalky. So yeah, so it kind of, I think I kind of got both the shades that Charlotte Tilbury's new product is coming out in. So yeah, so I kind of decided that I don't really need those. So yeah, Gerbera. So again, if you are looking for a matte cream blush, I highly recommend these. These are also in a better packaged versions, I believe. Like, I don't think the sponge tip is actually that fun to use. I rather have them in like these kind of pots where you can use either your fingers or you can use a brush, which is a little bit more hygienic than the sponge thing. So yeah, so these are the alternatives that I discovered for myself from my collection. And yeah, I think these are really great products. So anyway, so the last product that I want to talk about is a spring release from Chanel. And I don't know if this is going to be released in the US or if it's just coming up, but I think it's already released in Japan and maybe even Singapore. I'm not so sure. This is the Chanel Quad in Delices. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is their spring quad, which is very different for Chanel. I haven't seen something like that from Chanel in a while. They usually go play it safe and, you know, go with very pinky or very bronzy neutral type of tones. And if you look at that quad, it's very, very similar to the Revlon So Fierce Prismatic palette in the shade The Big Bang. I don't know. It's got the same vibes. Of course, the formulas might be different, but I think maybe even the formulas might be slightly similar, because these are also Baked Gelée type of a formula, and the Chanel Quad is also a Baked Gelée formula. And they do have, at least these two shades are there in that Chanel Quad. And then you have a brown, which is like this as well in the Chanel Quad. I think this particular shade might be a little bit lighter in the Chanel Quad. These ones don't have individual names, so I have to actually point them out. And this one, I really love this quad. This is one of my favorite Revlon eyeshadow products that I've tried. And this quad is a personal favorite. I have two of these prismatic quads, and out of the two, I think this one is the better one, in my opinion, formula-wise, as well as, you know, it's a very interesting color story. I haven't seen anything like this in the drugstore, so yeah, so that's what made me buy this in the first place. And now we have a Chanel quad which has a very similar color story. So if you are eyeing that particular Chanel quad, and you know, you just want like a similar color story, and probably even the formula, like I was saying, that one also looks like a Baked Gelée formula. This is also a Baked Gelée formula. Yeah, you might be able to just get similar looks with this one. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to have this quad in my collection. So again, that quad which caught my eye, I was able to talk myself out of it because I already have this one. And this one I think is priced around 10 bucks or so at the drugstore right now. I'm not sure. 10, depending on where you buy it. I think on Amazon it's like $10, which I think is a pretty good price, because these are actually made in Italy too. So they're actually pretty good. The quality is really nice. It's just the packaging that's a bit dinky because it's a drugstore one, but yeah, you probably have similar quality. That's what my point is. So yeah, so those were some of the new products that were tempting me, and I've been able to talk myself out of them a little bit, because I have similar products in my collection, and I highly encourage you to do the same. When you see new products and you feel like buying them, revisit your collection. I'm sure you'll find similar things, especially when it comes to things like highlighters. I'm pretty sure everybody has at least one Baked Gelée type highlighter, one you know, general normal powdered highlighter, and of course the shades of highlighters. I'm pretty sure everyone has at least multiples of some shades. You know, it happens. So yeah. So anyway, so that's my video for today. It's a pretty cloudy day and my lighting is kind of crazy. So I'm going to go right now. I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you again in another one. Bye.